Now, don't get the Jim Jams, ya lemon. I'll protect ya. Quote, Elsa Bloodstone. The bloody chaos continues as the events of Blood Hunt spill across the Marvel universe. When the skies go dark, what will happen when a group of vampires get a taste of the Hulk's gamma irritated blood? Kate Bishop takes aim against the creatures of the night with the help of a mysterious new vampire hunter, and Dagger and Elsa Bloodstone have teamed up to face down the vampire hordes. But when a new combatant enters the field, will she prove friend or foe, or both? The formation of Marvel's wildest new team yet, the Blood Hunters, continues. Blood Hunters, Volume 1, Issue 2, End of the Well. Dr. Bruce Banner wakes up unsure of his location, surrounded by death. What is most interesting is that Dr. Bruce Banner is bleeding. Dr. Bruce Banner says to a groaning dead person, "Can you hear me? The last thing I remember is the skies going dark." She's breathing, but we have to get her out of here. It smells like we're underground. It smells familiar. Of course, the references to the dark skies is about the dark hole blackening out the sun and vampires attacking the earth led by Blade. The interesting part is this story also has flashbacks of when Bruce Banner was a child in Dayton, Ohio, and trapped in a well. The flashback starts when a storm is coming and little Bruce Banner knows he has to get out of the well. Mickey and Chad, bullies, said they saw coins sparkling in the well water enough to get ice cream. As Bruce stepped off the bucket, they started hauling it back up. That was hours ago. When the rain comes, the well will fill up with storm water and he will drown. This is a dangerous game by Mickey and Chad are playing. In the flashback, child Bruce Banner tries to climb up the walls, but the walls are steep and wet. "I don't want to die, not yet. Don't look back. Don't ever look back. Sometimes you gotta risk dying to stay a living," thinks child Bruce Banner as he jumps. In the current Blood Hunt days, Bruce Banner climbs up the wall, grabs a rope, and says, "I got it. I'm here. I'm alive," as he emerges from his present day well. As Dr. Bruce Banner crawls out of the trapdoor, he thinks to himself, sometimes when you crawl up and out of the dark, you only find more trouble. He sees vampires feeding, and one of them says, "What do we have here? Not that we don't appreciate a surprising gift, but you best get back down in the pit, boy, at least until the rest of us show up." We turn back to a flashback when Bruce Banner was a kid. As the vampires were waiting, so were Mickey and Chad. Chad says, "Look who made it out of the well." Kid Bruce Banner responds, "You let me down there. You pulled up the rope." Just like the vampires told him to go back down, so did the bullies telling him, "You better climb down, runt, or we'll throw you." Bruce Banner says, "I'll die down there." Suddenly out of nowhere, Charger, a pit bull, comes running after the two bullies. As Bruce Banner was ready to take a licking, he hears a voice calling out, his only friend at the time in the world. Charger came back to save him. Charger, what's wrong with his eyes? "I ain't never seen him so red, like demon." We go back to the present time to see Hulk transform, ripping vampires limb from limb, just like Charger, with angry red in his eyes. We then go back to flashbacks where we find Charger running after the two bullies and Bruce Banner. Bruce finds himself running just as fast as Mickey and Chad, fearing that the dog will rip them apart. Bruce doesn't understand why Charger, his only friend, wants to hurt him. His only option is to hide, so he closes the door as Charger bangs his head against it. In the present day, the Hulk is tearing vampires apart with the same ferocity. The story mimics itself, switching between a child Bruce Banner desperately flight from Charger and the Hulk's brutal battle against the vampires. The child Bruce Banner says, "But there ain't no hiding from the bad things in life." In the Blood Hunt series, Blade has kept Thor alive to drink the blood of a god, which gives him more power. One of the vampires says that feeding on the Hulk's blood made them so much more than just monsters. The stronger the blood, the stronger the vampire. There are vampires who have somehow drunk Bruce Banner's blood, and these vampires are all the size of a Hulk. Just as Charger banged on the door in the flashback, these Hulk-sized vampires are charging and banging on the Hulk. They don't just want to kill him, they want to feed on him for a taste. One of the vampires says, "We'll feast on you for days, suck every last magical drop out of you." We go back to a flashback of Bruce Banner as a child. Charger looks like she wants to hurt or maybe even kill Bruce, but there's a reason why Bruce went to the shed. Something in him knew how this would end. Bruce says, "Don't make me do this, girl. You're not yourself. You you would never hurt me, right? I raised you from a pup. Something has happened to Charger. Young Bruce aims the shotgun at Charger, thinking about how easy it is to turn into a monster when that's all will save you. The real hard part is finishing the job. Bruce saves himself by shooting Charger, probably a gamma-radiated dog, in the head. Hulk refuses to lay down as the Hulk-sized vampires attack relentlessly, eager to feed on him. Despite his monstrous injuries and bleeding, Hulk picks up a stake. As the vampire is close to finish the job, Hulk, using his immense strength, drives the stake through the two vampires' hearts at once. Their blood splatters across Hulk's head, mirroring the flashback where young Bruce Banner put down the wild dog Charger. In both instances, the monstrous side of Bruce Hulk emerges to put down the wild animals threatening him. In the present, Bruce Banner says, I have to get the rest of the victims out of here before the others show up. I'm going to get you all help. However, when he enters the storage room, he discovers that all the people the vampires were planning to feed on have already turned into vampires themselves. Bruce wanted to save those people. He wanted to help them, but they could not be helped. We Drink to Forget We Drink, taking place before Avengers Volume 9, Issue 14, Legacy Issue 780. At the Hudson River in New York City, Kate Bishop, also known as Hawkeye, finds herself surrounded by thousands of vampires. The Darkhold has blackened out the skies, and Blade is in command of the vampires who are taking over the earth. On the rooftop alongside Kate Bishop and Lucky the Pizza Dog is the first appearance of Dr. Dante Malik. Dante has sent out a distress call, and Hawkeye feels it's her duty to respond. On this rooftop, Dante makes silver-tipped arrows while Kate Bishop takes down the vampires. Despite her best efforts, it seems there are just too many of them. As Dante tries to trick the vampires with tap water, claiming it's holy water because the priest got bit, he believes the vampires are brain dead and easy to deceive. Meanwhile, Lucky the Pizza Dog runs with more arrows to Hawkeye. Kate Bishop feels that the holy water trick won't work, but reassures herself that she's fully loaded with arrows and ready for the fight. As Hawkeye keeps shooting her arrows at the vampires, it becomes clear there are just too many of them. One of the vampires grabs her from behind and throws her through a wooden wall. Just when it seems like she is about to be bitten, Dante drives a stake through the vampire's heart, saving Kate Bishop. A few dead vampires later, Kate Bishop and Dante retreat to Dante's hideaway. Here, we are introduced to two new characters, twin astral plane ghosts named Search and Destroy. They reveal Daddy calls us Search and Destroy only when we're bad. Dante then mentions he has a magic trick up his sleeve. He takes a splash of Kate's blood, adds a dash of Daddy's vampire sweat, and creates a decoy cocktail. He plans to use it to lure the vampire swarm into a trap. Dante also reveals he's trying to kick the blood habit, attempting to abstain from drinking human blood. Little by little, Dr. Dante Malik becomes suspicious to Kate Bishop. She says, my dog doesn't like you, Dante. Dante replies, why would he? I'm slathered in vampire stench for camouflage, hiding the smell of garlic. Basic Slayer technique. Cover me while I set the trap. Keep your eyes on the horizon, Kate. They'll look like innocent flurry of birds when they come. Lucky, Kate's dog doesn't trust Dante and feels something is off about him. Search and Destroy ad. If Daddy stays a vampire, he gets to live forever. That'd be cool. Oh, but he might drain our blood. Daddy loves to drink. Kate Bishop becomes more suspicious of Dante as Search and Destroy talk about mixing blood. Dante mentions he has a trap set for the vampires who mimic birds, adding an interesting fact. Loner vampires are smarter than flock vampires. While flocks will fly into a trap, loners have higher intelligence. A mosquito lands on Dante's hand, and Search and Destroy asks why he's letting it suck his blood. Dante replies, helps me understand my blood-sucking enemy, before suddenly killing the mosquito. Dante asks, what's with the grim face, Kate? What are you afraid of? Kate replies, liars and tricksters. Dante retorts, you have daddy issues. Kate starts her interrogation. You claim to be a vampire slayer, Dante, but you're a vampire too, right? A blood hunter, a self-hating, self-destructive vamp. Dante responds, you're going to shoot me with my own silver tip? That's rude. Good thing I made them out of tin and tap water. Liar, Kate exclaims. You didn't set a vampire trap. You set a lure to take me down. As Lucky draws near, Dante turns violent, saying, I'm hungry. Would you rather I drink the twins? Dante can't control his hunger for human blood. All this was a trap to get Kate Bishop's blood. Search and Destroy want to find Dante. He's hungry, wild wilding out and wants to eat Lucky. Just as the intensity of the situation grows, the vampire comes back. There are flocks of vampires, reckless, stupid, and just following each other. Dante, a psychiatrist specializing in addiction, was bitten by one of his patients. He's learned how to be a good vampire, but like any addict, he can't slip. So they give Dante rats to curb his hunger. A couple of rats later, the fight begins. The good vampire Dante, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, and Lucky the Pizza Dog go to attack the flock vampires. However, Hawkeye thanks Dante for helping them learn more about these vampires. Kate Bishop says vampires shrink from light, but I bet they hate a blast of electricity. Slice these wires up and let her rip. She uses the fireworks and electricity to attack the vampires, electrocuting them and using the fireworks as a diversion. Now Kate Bishop Hawkeye needs to find Dante Malik to clip his fangs and rein him in. Dante got away, disappearing likely on a ship, but he left Search and Destroy with Kate. Dante also cured their dad and let Kate have some gifts: a welding crucible, borax, mallet, silver crosses, and torches. Everything she needs to make silver tips. Dante has given her all the tools to fight vampires or perhaps put him out of his misery. Kate wants to know which one is Search and which one is Destroy, but they switch places to confuse people. As Kate Bishop is not finished with Dante Malik, Search and Destroy, with the help of Lucky and their mysterious dad in the back seat, are going after Dante Malik, the vampire. Once more, Into the Darkness, Part 2. At Bloodstone Manor in Boston, Massachusetts, earlier that day, Elsa Bloodstone is playing chess with Frankenstein, calling himself Adam, when Charles Barnabas enters the room, revealing he has been turned into a vampire. Following the death of monster hunter Ulysses Bloodstone Vampire, Charles Barnabas became the executor of Ulysses' estate in Boston. For years, he searched for a living heir to inherit the Bloodstone wealth, eventually discovering 18-year-old Alyssa Bloodstone. Alyssa and her mother, Elsa, moved into Bloodstone Manor, but Charles was careful to keep the true nature of Ulysses' lifestyle hidden from Elsa. She eventually learned the truth on her own after encountering the mansion's caretaker, Adam. Drawn into the world of the supernatural, Elsa discovered Charles' secret that he is a vampire. A powerful breed of vampire known as the Nosferati captured several vampires, including Dracula and Charles Barnabas. The Nosferati can only feed on the blood of other vampires and intend to keep Dracula and Charles as a permanent immortal food source. Elsa and her friends raided the Nosferati headquarters, freeing the two vampires. After the defeat, Nosferati, Charles returned with Elsa to Bloodstone Manor. Since then, Elsa Bloodstone has converted the mansion into a Curie museum. Charles Barnabas has developed a close bond with her and remains part of the museum staff. Charles Barnabas suddenly leaps at Elsa Bloodstone and Frankenstein, interrupting their chess game. Charles leaps at Elsa, but she swiftly cuts the vampire on the arm. Adam says, "I don't believe this is a joke," as Elsa tells Charles to get hold of himself, reminding him, "I hunt monsters, not my friends." Adam Frankenstein gathers potions and various magical spells to help Elsa. Charles, ready to bite, grabs Elsa by the neck. As the fight continues between Charles and Elsa, blows are exchanged back and forth. Meanwhile, Adam Frankenstein is busy concocting a way to restrain Charles. Suddenly, Adam announces he's ready. Elsa delivers a swift kick to Charles' head, causing him to land right in the middle of the magical spell. Charles is chained in magical bonds. Adam Frankenstein says, "Sorry, old friend." Elsa responds, "Think that'll hold him till we figure out what's going on?" Adam replies, "Let's hope so." Frankenstein then asks where Elsa is going. She answers, "Keep Dixie and Charles while I speed up the process. Someone's got to know what turning even tame vampires into killers. We want to get him back to his spreadsheets and contract right quick." As Elsa walks out, she sees the darkness in the afternoon. These events mark the beginning of the blood hunt. Back in present-day New York City, Elsa Bloodstone is with Dagger, also known as Tandy Bowen. Elsa used Mordred's causeways, an amulet that generates portals for teleportation to get there. Dagger questions why Elsa helped her friend, but wouldn't give her a chance to help hers. Suddenly, White Widow Yelena Belova appears with two vampires by her side. Dagger says, "Don't kill her. She's a good guy." Well, mostly. Elsa responds, "I make no promises, Dagger." Dagger. The fight begins as Elsa Bloodstone charges at White Widow with machetes. White Widow blocks machetes skillfully. Meanwhile, Dagger faces off against two vampires, swiftly cutting them down. Elsa Bloodstone kicks White Widow in the stomach, pinning her against the wall. She then uses her daggers to pierce through White Widow's hands, holding her in place. Elsa reassures, I can follow directions. These silver stakes won't kill her. They're just holding her there. Dagger explains to vampires, White Widow, that she is a friend of Natasha's, while Elsa prepares her shotgun in case things go wrong. Dagger then attempts to heal Yelena using her light forces, causing Yelena to growl in agony. As things don't go as expected, Dagger is thrown away from Yelena and both of them begin to burn. Elsa asks Dagger if she's alright, noting she looks to be in bad shape. Somehow, without being bitten, Dagger has now become a vampire. Next, Blood Hunters, Volume 1, Issue 3.